$160 from Pyramyd Air, 162 around there. It's an automatic safety brake barrel, 22. It's got a fiber optic front sight, fiber optic rear sight. I don't know if it's adjustable. One thing I've noticed with this rifle is, for some reason, first of all, it's an automatic safety, which you cannot re-engage after you fired. So it's right there. So after you shoot, you can't put it back on safe. One thing I've noticed is that it's been chipping a little bit right around the safety. You can see that safety. This is the safety right here and there. You can have it on either side, and it's been chipping, and I don't know why. It's a wood stock. It does look plastic, but it's got a nice finish. It's really a nice stock. I like the stock a lot, but I just don't like the gun. It's got a dual blade trigger. Basically works as a safety. You have to compress the second part of the trigger, and then you can pull the first. You have to compress the first part, then you can pull the second part. The little thing right here goes all the way down to there, which is a little longer than I prefer, but I guess that makes it. It's got this muzzle brake at the end, which is terrible because it's, first of all, it's as big as a .25 caliber thing. It's much bigger than a .22 at the end of the barrel, so that messes up it a lot. For some reason, it's been setting my pellets. Well, it hasn't. It's been cracking like it's been setting them supersonic, but I cronied it, and it wasn't going anywhere near supersonic. So that means that there's something wrong with the spring. I was shooting it once at my dad's house. I used JSB Diablo Exacts, the Jumbo Express pellets, and they don't fit into the breech right here. They don't fit in there, so that's kind of weird because they're pretty good in both my other 22s. And that's just, yeah, I really don't like this gun at all. Yep. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with the comparisons. We're going to start from the top down. Up here, we've got fiber optic sight on the Remington Vantage, right here. It's green, it's nice. I don't like posts. This one, I like posts, excuse me, but this one, I don't like this whole thing with the little guard around it, because it wouldn't really guard it if something were to fall on it. And basically it's just there for show, and it gets in the way when you're aiming. Alright, let's move down. We're looking at the barrel. The bluing on the barrel on the Vantage, it's really nice. I guess you could say it's nice on this one. I mean, it's scratched. This one is scratched to death already. I mean, I've had it for 5 days and it's already scratched to death, excuse me. So yeah, we'll move along down. We start with the stocks. Alright, both wood stocks, really like them. The Mendoza Mendoza stock, I like it just a little bit better because it's just got a nice finish to it. I do like the Vantage's stock. Alright, then we move down. We got the rear sight. I'll pick them up a little bit. The rear sight on the Vantage is fully adjustable. This one is not adjustable as far as I can see. I guess you could adjust it for windage. It doesn't look like you could do much for elevation. It doesn't look like it would be very accurate. This one was very accurate until the open sight cracked when I dropped it. Both of them are scopable. Of course, I put a nice Leapers 3 to 9 by 40 on my Vantage because I think it deserves it, because it's such a nice gun. On the Mendoza, well, I tried to, but it didn't come with the correct scope mounts, so when I was putting the scope on, it was super loose and the scope was just wobbling around, so I said, well, forget it, and I'm not going to scope you then, because I'm just going to return you in a couple days anyway. Then we move along down. And we'll move to, I guess the safety will be the next thing. On the Vantage, it's right in front of the trigger. It's that manual safety. I like that. It's an automatic safety on the Mendoza, which I dislike a lot because I like to be able to just go ahead and load and pull the trigger. This one you can't even, on the Mendoza, you can't even re-engage it after you fire, which I find to be pretty unsafe. But, yeah. Now we'll move along to the trigger. Trigger on the Mendoza is definitely better than the Vantage, which is unfortunate. The Vantage is basically plastic, but it's got a nice trigger pull. The Mendoza's trigger pull I think it's 2 pounds. It's really a nice trigger pull. It's just too bad it's a crappy gun. Then we move down to the butt of the gun, butt stock, I guess you could call it. This Mendoza has a cheek piece for the right-handed shooter. The Remington is completely plain, so I guess you could say yay for the Mendoza. Then we move to the butt pads of both rifles. As you can see, the Mendoza has got a nicer one. Well, let's just say a fancier one. I like the Remington Vantages better because, well, you know, it's just your average butt pad. Who needs to waste time with a fancy butt pad? You're never going to really use it for anything except resting it up against your shoulder. Adjustability on the triggers. You can adjust the Vantage. You cannot adjust the Mendoza. As far as I can tell, you cannot adjust it. Alright, now let's go ahead, put the Mendoza down. Go into the braking action. On the Remington Vantage, it is really light. I could probably hold it like this for hours. It can't weigh too much. And the Mendoza, to break it open, you really have to hit it hard, and then you got to pull hard just to get it to go. And I could hold it like this for a long time, but you know, for a newer shooter, maybe someone not as strong as me, you could not hold it that long. You know, you load it 20 times and you're gonna end up with a pretty strong arm, and then you're gonna have a weak other one. But with the Vantage, you could do it all day, not worry about getting one big gorilla arm and one not. Breeches on the gun, I have to say I like the Vantages better. It's just perfect sized. It doesn't come out too far, which is weird with this gun. I have not even seen a gun like this before, where you break it and look, right there it is. It looks fine, but it's so long. I don't really like that. I don't know if that's the problem or anything. I really don't know what the problem is with this thing going supersonic or cracking like it's going supersonic without sending. And then making it return back is really hard. Making it return back to its original position. All around the Mendoza for $160, not worth it. I wouldn't pay more than $20 for this thing. It really was just an unpleasant gun to have. The Vantage 1200, what a great gun. I mean, this thing is so... accuracy, that's the other thing I forgot to talk about. Accuracy on the Mendoza with the JSB Diablo Exact Jumbo Express pellets is subpar. This thing probably couldn't hit an apple at 60 yards. With my Vantage, I took a squirrel out at, I think, 45 yards. I could have easily taken it out at 100. I mean, this Vantage is great. With this new scope, it's even better. But I was saying about the Mendoza, if you're going to use this for anything other than saying, I own it, then you're not going to be happy with it at all. I can definitely would say that I would not recommend this to a friend. I would not recommend this to an experienced veteran in the airgun industry. I would not recommend this to a new person in the airgun industry. I would not recommend this gun at all. It is terrible. And I am going to go ahead and return it to Pyramyd Air as soon as I get the time. But I put this review out not just to smash you if you love Mendoza, but I'm just putting this review out as my little, this is my experience, and I really would not want to see someone get a bad thought of the airgun world just because of a Mendoza. This is again Mendoza RM 622 caliber.